Young Jables used to wonder why nobody liked him or took him seriously. He didn't have many friends, and women didn't know he existed. Yet, he would keep making the same mistakes. Stick around, cause I need that watch time.
Stop right there, criminal scum!
It's no secret that the men of the West have become weak. There are so many weak men in our society right now, and if we don't do something about it, it's going to get a lot worse. With that being said, here are a few signs that you're a weak man. The first sign that you're a weak man is that you try to show off to impress other people. Now this might be that you're in the gym, you've put the weight on really high, because there's a good looking woman just across from you, and you want to try and impress her, don't you? You think that if you can lift this weight, you can show off, you can show her how big your muscles are, show her how strong you are, that she's going to like you more. Or maybe you just want to impress the other guys there. The fact that you're trying to show off in front of other people, it shows that you do not value yourself. It shows that you need the validation and approval of other people. If you're showing off to make other people like you, it shows that you're not that likeable to begin with. If you were likeable, you wouldn't need to show off. The next sign that you're a weak man is that you heavily criticise other people, yet you refuse to take accountability for yourself, for your own flaws. A man that heavily criticises other people is generally not a man who has been very successful. There's so many men right now, and I see it in the men's self-improvement group. I see men doing nothing but criticising other men without giving any kind of constructive feedback. These very same men, they haven't achieved very much at all.
Nothing at all!
And they're looking down on other men, treating them like they're inferior, but they've done very little to achieve things themselves. It's a sign of weakness because men who have achieved things, they don't feel the need to criticise others. In fact, men who are successful are heavily critical of themselves.
Oh shit, here we go again.
And that's how they've become successful, because they look at their flaws and think, how can I improve this? They waste no time pointing out other people's flaws, but instead they work on their own, and that is exactly why they are successful. If you want to be a strong man, stop focusing on other people's problems and start focusing on your own. The next sign that you're a weak man is that you are emotional. Emotional men are men who cannot control their emotions. Perhaps you get angry.
I hate them!
And in a fit of rage, you will lash out at people. Perhaps you get violent. Perhaps you start throwing things around. Perhaps you start getting very abusive. Maybe something's upset you, and out of nowhere you just break down crying. Either of these things are not good because they do not demonstrate that you have control of your emotions, control of yourself. What could be stronger than a man that has control over his emotions, control over his impulses, over his desires? A man that is emotional is a man that makes bad decisions, that is unstable.
Jeez! For everyone!
And if he makes bad decisions, how then can he be trusted to lead his family to greater things? His family are going to be relying on him. How can they rely on him if he cannot rely on himself? You have to be strong for your family,
You picked the wrong house, fool!
not weak. The next sign that you're a weak man is that you are bitter. Bitter men do not spread positivity. Bitter men spread negativity. Bitter men are always critical of others. They always feel the need to talk down to other people.
It's worthless to me anyway.
They hold on to anger. They hold on to their insecurities, the past, and the things that others have done to them, and so on. They're very angry at their own mistakes. They're very angry at other people's mistakes. They don't let things go, and they become bitter because of it. Perhaps you're a man who, you've been in a relationship with a woman, and let's say you gave this woman everything and she ripped your heart to pieces.
Suffering.
You're not alone, a lot of people have gone through that. But if you're a man who's experienced something like that, and then you go forward and you start thinking that every woman's going to do the same thing, understand that you're a bitter man, and because of your bitterness, you're going to push people away. And it is a sign of weakness because you've allowed someone else who is probably not a great person, who probably isn't that valuable to society, you've given that person power over you. Power over your life, because it's going to stop you achieving your full potential. It's going to stop you from growing. And if you want to be strong, you've got to learn to let go of things. Stop being bitter and start being better. The next sign that you're a weak man is that you are incredibly competitive against others, especially if you do this in the pursuit of a woman. Being incredibly competitive against other men is a sign of weakness because you're looking at other people as a measure of success. You think that if you can beat another man, that you're instantly better than him, that you're more successful. But the truth is that no man is better than anyone else. There are only men who are more valuable to society and men who are less valuable. And in the words of Qui-Gon Jinn, there's always a bigger fish. There's always a man who's bigger than you, who's better looking than you, who's stronger than you, who's more intelligent, who's more charismatic, and it will become an endless battle. Trying to compete against others is a fruitless task because it doesn't achieve anything. The only person you should be competing against is yourself. And if you're trying to compete against other men, you'll never be strong because you're going to be focusing on everyone else's achievements rather than your own. The next sign that you're a weak man is that you do not stick to your principles. Perhaps you've been in a relationship and things go well in the beginning. You're really starting to fall for this woman. You become very attached. You start thinking to yourself, I don't really need to go to the gym that much anymore. I don't need to keep working on my goals. This woman loves me, she takes care of me, she does all these things. This woman is my world, I want to treat her like a princess. I want to make sure that she's happy, because that's what matters most to me. You might have been a man before that who lived a very independent life of others.
1776!
You didn't really need a woman in your life, and that might have been a strong principle of yours. But if then you fall in love with this woman, and you abandon your principles, she's going to start to think that you're a weak man, and it'll speak for itself because she's not going to treat you the same way that she used to. A man of principle is attractive. Women like men who stick to their principles because those are men who cannot be broken. Those are men who are going to lead by example, who do not care what other people think about them. And if you're sticking to your principles, she's always going to find you attractive. She's always going to see you as a source of strength in your relationship, in your family unit, and so on. But if you abandon your principles, you are in effect abandoning yourself. And when you abandon yourself, you cannot stand. And if you cannot stand, your relationship cannot stand. The next sign that you're a weak man is that you value sex over connection. There's a lot of men going around and they're sleeping with different women every single week. They're engaging in all this kind of degenerate behaviour.
This is where the fun begins.
They're having all these hookups with different women and they think they're being successful by doing that. And society doesn't help. You know, we've been programmed to think that having sex with a different woman every week is what a successful man does. But the truth is that sex doesn't do all that much for you. The only real benefit of meaningless sex is that it gives you an ego boost. Other than that, you aren't really gaining anything. Men who value sex are ultimately weak men because they don't live purposeful lives. They're just chasing pussy. If you chase pussy, you're a slave to it. Don't become a slave to that. Become a slave to purpose instead of pleasure. And that brings me on to my next point. A weak man chases pleasure instead of purpose. Doing these things is not only going to wreck your mental health, but it's going to stunt your growth. You're not going to make any progress in your life if all you do is give yourself to fruitless pleasures. If you want to become a strong man, you want to make genuine progress in your life, you need to reject all this pleasure and start chasing purpose. Start working on your goals. Do those things and life will get so much better. You'll start feeling so much more secure in yourself because you will have a sense of achievement, a sense of accomplishment. The next sign that you're a weak man is that you constantly make excuses for yourself. You're always complaining, you're always blaming others.
I hate them.
If you're always making excuses for yourself, nothing's going to change, is it? Because you're always going to blame someone else or some external circumstance. That is ultimately a victim mindset. What could be weaker than a man who focuses on the problems but not on the solutions? If you're always complaining about things, who wants to be around a man like that? Imagine that you're in battle with your brothers right now. You're fighting for the glory of Rome. Do you want to be around your brothers who, in the preparation for battle, they're always complaining, they're always saying that, oh shit, you know, these guys are going to beat us, we're going to get annihilated, putting so much doubt and negativity into your mind? Yeah, we're all feeling the same way, but no one wants to hear it because it's just bringing everyone else down. Stop being a negative influence on others and start being a positive influence. Do you have any of these weaknesses that I've talked about today? What could you improve on? Let me know, guys, leave a comment. I run a men's self-improvement group on Facebook. If you'd like to connect with me more personally, click the link in description. And so we've talked about weakness in this video, but another sign of weakness is making a woman your top priority. If you'd like to know more about that, click the video on screen right now. I hope this video was valuable to you. If it was, be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Hope you enjoyed that video. That's all I have to say about that.
Oh!